Yet another assembly video, this Elan Series 2. I've fitted the heater hoses to the heater box inside so you can see them actually clamped on. The roots seem to be just pretty natural really. Let me get a one. So this side just loops over and goes through the bulkhead. So the curve shape's just taking it where it wants to go really, and it seems right. I haven't got other components in yet, it might not work in the end, but we'll see. And the one on the other side is very similar. I'll just go around the other side. So this side you can see just loops. Again, don't know if that might need pushing out of the way by other parts. Glove box, not sure yet. And on the engine bay side, I think you saw this one. Very simple, just straight to that heater valve. And that's the original valve. I've cleaned it up. I quite like putting the older parts back on cleaned up. Could get new parts, but if it's functioning. I did find out how to jack the engine up on this side to fit that, to clear the fiberglass bodywork, which is a bit of a pain, having to unbolt the engine mount on this side and jack the engine up a little bit just to tip it up enough. So I hope I don't have to change it. And on this side, the heater hose, again pretty simple run, and I have to find some grommets that'll fit, so I haven't clamped it in place yet. I'm fortunate enough to have the original vacuum hoses still that I pulled out of the car when I took it to bits, so lengthwise and where they come through the bulkhead and the length that was either side is pretty clear, so I've positioned them to those lengths. What was I going to show you? Yeah, the new pipe I've got. Here's the new pipe. It would have been white on these early cars, I'm assured, and black on the later cars. This is 8mm pipe suitable for pneumatics, so I'm happy that it's the right stuff. I'll just show the ends. So those are the ends of the pipes. The wall thickness is very similar. The old one's a bit cruddy. So diameter wise virtually the same. So very happy with that. And the rubber tube that goes on the ends, got some rubber hose, it's actually fuel hose. It's a little bit bigger outside diameter, but it pushes onto that pipe really nicely, so that's what I'm going to use. I've fitted the vacuum pipe, so just pushes into rubber. I've discovered what this hole was for now. It must be for this vacuum pipe to run through, and then you can see down there a vacuum pipe going to the T-piece with that valve in, so it just runs underneath, and then similarly the other side, this one comes up and runs through, and then this one disappears underneath the servo and goes to the front, and then I've put one across between the vacuum units. I'll just go around. The pipe runs between the vacuum units, which is straightforward enough. The one coming down out from the engine bay, you can just see the rubber pipe there. Get in the way of the light. So that rubber pipe there runs to the vacuum unit and goes up and joins onto the plastic pipe just underneath where the servo is. Front on the chassis, there's the T-piece with the non-return valve in on this car. I'm pretty certain that non-return valve, you can see a massive crack at this side, so I'd have to araldite that up or something, but anyway the valve I think is leaky, so I'm not sure whether I'll have to change that for a different arrangement. Yeah, it's very loose on the chassis as well, so that would need taping and making it vacuum tight. And these pipes seem to run quite nicely through these holes in those sort of outrigger sports. So that seems, I don't know that that's the way it goes, but it seems very logical. So that sort of holds it in place, stops it flapping around. So this one ends up coming through the hole in the outrigger and then up, and I've just taken them behind this support, which looks right from pictures I've seen. So these will get I think taped together just to hold them neatly, stop them flapping around. And that's where the one disappears underneath the servo bracket. There's the one on this side. Comes up through that hole. I just realised it might be better to go behind there. Just see if I can pull it out. Let's try it behind there. Yeah, that probably need to. I may have cut it slightly too short. I can get a longer piece. I'll think about that. Here's the headlamp vacuum valve, which this just pulls in and out, and it makes a circuit between these two pipes. So that's on the end of the vacuum pipes, which run up, and I've now got correct grommets through the bulkhead. I'll have a look from the other side. I've also got grommets on these heat pipes now. I've got the grommets that fit through this thickness of fiberglass from SJ sports cars. That's great that they stock the correct grommets, which is great. So you can see those in place, and the one through that one as well. Got this bottle bracket in place as well now. I've painted it blue because the one that came off the car was blue. I managed to get a correct bottle as well, which is rather nice. It's printed logo on instead of the one with a sticker. Painted the dipstick white as well. Good friend Richard told me that I should paint that white. What else in here? Yes, this vacuum pipe now. So I've got it at a length that makes more sense, and the reason is I've fitted a different T-piece and non-return valve, which was also from SJ Sports Cars, because I knew the other valve was leaky on the T-piece. So I've got a T-piece that fits, and fitted this. Definitely not original non-return valve, but it's going to do the job, so I've hidden it down here, which seems good. A quick test fit of the bonnet, which is nicely in line at this end. It's sitting up ever so slightly here just because it's sitting on the foam and there's no clips yet, but it will push down for sure. And the good news is that's with the radiator in place as well, which I have got still wrapped up in bubble wrap and protected, but it does fit under the bonnet. It's tight, but it moves, and there's still adjustment room, so I'm happy.